Hello everyone, today we're here to talk about a product that I am really curious about, and that is the Caran NeoArt 6901 Wax Oil Pastels. They are a high-grade artist quality pastel that we're going to talk about today. I really am curious about this, and will they work in a coloring book? That's the question I'm going to ask. My name is Jennifer Stay. This is Coloring Bliss. I have Steve, my business partner and husband, here with me.
Hello, everybody.
And I also have a little Rose, who you saw moving around just a minute ago. And for those of you who are around on the channel a lot, you might realize she looks a little bit different. We took her camping, actually camping twice, and she came back very brown. She had a great time camping, and when we took her to the groomer found a whole bunch of knots in the back of her ears, in the beautiful long ear hair that she had, so they had to shave all of that off. But what we discovered is that she has floppy ears. We didn't know she had floppy ears because she's always had long hair growing off of her ears that I guess pulled the ears down. So now when she digs, when she plays, her little ears flop. And they're so silky, aren't they, Steve?
So sweet. She's like a little lamb.
Yeah, she does look like a little lamb. So everything's fine. She's not sick or anything. She just had a little too much fun camping, and she had to have an extreme grooming. And hopefully the ear hair will grow back, unless we just decide we love it short and floppy like this. So, okay, Jennifer, before you get started with this video, I wanted to interrupt and tell you about our giveaway that's going on. We are giving away one copy of Volume 1 Simple Bliss Spring Garden so that you can color with your brand new 90 color set of OHUHU KAKAAKO acrylic markers. These are beautiful markers that we showed last week, and OHUHU was so generous to give us a second set of these so that I can give them away to one of you. This giveaway is worth $126.48. Coming up on your screen right now are some tips and tricks so that you don't get scammed. Just remember that we don't ask for any money during a giveaway. We give you the prize, we pay for the shipping, the whole thing. So don't get scammed, let's just have fun with this giveaway. Remember, the giveaway started August 20th, 2025. It ends September 3rd, 2025, so you don't have much time left to get your entries in. The winner will be announced via email September 4th, 2025. So good luck, everyone, and don't forget the links to the giveaway are in the video description. There's lots of different ways to enter. Good luck, everyone, and let's go back to the video. But let's get back to why we're here today. We're going to be talking about these, and I've actually done a little swatching and a little bit of art with them already, so I have a little preview that I'm going to show you what I did actually while we were camping. I played around with these, and that brings me to one of the things that I love about this product is the packaging, because they were very safe when I took them camping. They're in a really nice cardboard box, and they have foam glued into the interior. This is very similar to the packaging of the Luminance pencils, and they sit in here really nicely. Each one has their own little slot that they sit in, and let me give you a close-up look. So this is a NeoArt 6901. It says it's Artist Permanent Wax and Oil Pastel. So that's one of the things that makes this unique. Steve, you were asking, what are they?
Yeah, wax, oil, you know.
They're both. They have wax and oil in it. So when I was working with them, they feel creamier than a crayon, but nowhere near as creamy as a full-on oil pastel. So you can touch them and you don't get oil pastel on your fingers.
Okay.
But that means that blending them out with your finger doesn't work. So I think you'd have to use a solvent. That was one of the questions I had was, will a solvent work with these? We may try that out.
So they're not water soluble.
No.
Like an oil pastel is not water soluble.
Right.
Okay.
So they're permanent. They're considered permanent.
So like the Neocolor ones
are wax crayon, an artist's wax crayon. The Neocolor II are a water-soluble wax crayon, and these are a wax oil pastel is what they're calling them. But you can call them all pastels. All of them, I've heard them referred to as pastels. So this is another one, and the important thing on this particular tool is that 6901. That's really important. We're going to talk about what that number means here in a minute. So it has a color name. This one is Spring Green, and it has a color number, and it's part of the Caran color system, which I haven't tested yet, so I might have Steve grab the Luminance pencils and we'll do a little swatch next to each color and see.
Because I'm curious, knowing that, those are 6901, right?
Yeah. So we'll see how close they are. So we'll grab the Luminance here in just a minute.
And and the Neocolors are 6901, aren't they?
No.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Okay.
Nope. So these also are a little different. They're small. They're smaller than crayons, and they are octagonal. So they're grippy. You can hold on to them really tight. And then they have a special cut in the paper coating here so that it's easy to peel off. Let me see if I can get that in the light. There, you can see that it has like a perforation or something there to make it easy to peel off. So let's go ahead and take a look at the swatches that I did while we were camping in my big swatch book here. Let me find, there we are. Okay, so this is the art we did. We'll look at this a little closer here in a minute. And these are the swatches. Okay, one thing I wanted to mention right off is that they are claiming, at least in some of the literature I read, that you don't need a fixative for these pastels. And I disagree. If you can see, we have lots of color that has transferred over to the other side of the page. So I would still use a fixative to make sure that that kind of transfer doesn't happen. In a sketchbook, they get, the pages get moved a lot, and so yeah, rubbing off happens. So a fixative would have been nice for this. But these are the colors. For the white, what I did was I cut out a circle of black paper and glued it down so that it was going straight onto a black substrate. And then all the others are just on the paper. This is a Arteza sketchbook right here.
And they go up to 48 colors?
48 colors. So I have the 12 set. They're kind of pricey. The 12 set is $35. So almost $3 a tool, a pastel. The 24 set is $68.85. I just couldn't justify, and that's what I usually recommend to all of you, is if you've got a new product, you don't know if you're going to use it, don't dive in full set syndrome and get the whole thing right off front. Make sure you start small. You can even, like, these are available open stock for $2.66 each, so I could have bought just 3 of them and played around with them as well. That would have been an even cheaper way to get in and try these. The 48 set is $145.74.
Wow.
They're really expensive. But they are artist grade, and we're going to talk about, again, I'm kind of holding off, but we're going to talk about that 6901, what that means, and that's really one of the big reasons why this is a more expensive product. Okay, so let's look at the colors. We have black and white and a russet, so you can do some, and the brown ochre. So I think that's really good for landscape. I think that's why they have this color. And I'm going to have Steve comment on what he thinks of the color balance of the 12. It's hard because it's just 12. This is the strangest color in the group. It's called dark phthalocyanine green. And it's just a really dark green, and I didn't like it at first until I tried it up here on my little chameleon. That's what's in the shadows here on my chameleon, and on the spikes on his back is the dark phthalocyanine green. So it actually blended out into the spring green really beautifully. I really like how it turned out.
Wow.
Then you get chrysocolla blue, ultramarine, manganese violet, purplish red, permanent red. These two are LF2, which we'll talk about here in a second. And then lemon yellow were the colors. What do you think of the color balance, Steve?
It's not how I would have done it. But I don't know. You know, I'm not a fine artist, so I don't know. Is there a reason why? I assume there's a reason why they chose those 12 colors that I just don't know because I'm not an artist.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it were me, of course, I would go more with the color wheel.
Yeah, like you said earlier, there's no blue-green.
Yeah,
And there's no
green.
like standard green. There's that's where it was the strangest to me. Of course, as you can see in the chameleon, when you mix the dark cyanine green and the spring green, you get a beautiful bright green. And that's one of the things they say is that they're very soft and very blendable. So I worked really hard to try blending like the yellow into the green here, and then on the little log that the chameleon's sitting on, I tried to get some different browns, the russet and the brown ochre going on in there. I think it was successful. By the way, the drawings that I did here were inspired by a book called Cute Chibi Animals, Learn How to Draw by Phoebe I.M. Really recommend that book. Look how adorable the little animals are. The little peacock, I really like how I was able to blend in with the manganese violet and the ultramarine. And then, of course, we have the chrysocolla blue in there.
So pretty.
Yeah, really vibrant colors. But we're working on a textured paper, so you can see it was hard to get rid of the tooth all the way down into the tooth. Okay, what I'm just trying to say is that there is a tooth to this paper, and the pastels like to stay on the top of the tooth and not go down into the valleys. So that's where I think maybe either a blending stump maybe would push it down into it, or using a solvent. So I think that's one thing we need to experiment with is a solvent.
Yeah, or fingers maybe.
I tried fingers on here and it's just not creamy enough. There's too much wax, I guess, in the formula to let you blend really well with your finger. Where an oil pastel, it's almost like a lipstick and you can really blend and move those colors with your fingers. But that makes oil pastels a little more messy. So that's where I think this product is a win, because it's a hybrid pastel and you get kind of the best of both worlds, the creaminess of a pastel, but not the mess. Okay, so I think we've looked at the NeoArt 6901. Let's talk about what 6901 means. What does it mean to be certified ASTM D6901? Well, at the request of the Color Pencil Society of America, the American Society for Testing and Material developed the most stringent international standard called ASTM D6901, which determines the level of light fastness of color pencils. Obtaining this certification requires 3 months of strict outdoor testing in the Arizona desert, as well as 400 hours of exposure to UV light in the laboratory. With NeoArt 6901, Caran is the first brand to introduce an assortment of 48 wax oil pastels that are 100% certified, including 34 in category LF1 and 14 in LF2. Each shade has been formulated using finely ground pigments selected for their purity, intensity, and excellent resistance to UV light. So what all that means is in 100 years, if my, what do you think, great-great-great-grandchildren open up the sketchbook, these colors should be the same as the day I colored them, which is pretty cool. Now, there are, all of these are LF1, except for these two, which are LF2. And Steve was just asking, it's a little confusing because in the blue wool and normal non-ASTM D6901 world, usually the higher the number of stars, the better the light fastness.
Right.
So in this case, it's flipped. So to have an LF1, it means that it's probably not going to change color for 100 years.
That's interesting too that it's under Arizona sun.
Yeah, wasn't that a cool thing to learn about?
Yeah.
Really a cool testing, and it costs a lot of money for these products to be tested. They work really hard to get the most beautiful colors with this light fastness, and that's why Caran d'Ache in general is really expensive. So what I'd like to do now is grab the Luminance pencils, which are also ASTM D6901 tested, and see if they're the same colors as what we have here in this 12 set. All right, I found all 12 colors. They all exist. Even the dark phthalocyanine green exists. And I think they did a pretty good job matching. I mean, we've got two different art products that are trying to have the same color. Do you see anything obvious? This is the color pencil here, and then this is the new oil pastel. What do you think?
Wow. I'm really impressed. I mean, I guess that's what you get. Or you get what you pay for, right?
Yes, and you pay a lot for Caran d'Ache products, and so you expect the best, and yeah, they definitely match in the same color system, so that would be cool. Like you can see with the dark phthalocyanine green, I was able to get a much darker because I could push harder into the tooth of the paper, so to work with them together would work really well.
I guess it's kind of interesting because colored pencils are a mix of wax and oil, right?
Yeah.
And
other things.
The Luminance are more oil, or are they more, I think they're more oil, aren't they, than wax?
I don't know. I don't want to say.
Yeah. Regardless, these are a wax oil pastel. Colored pencils are basically a wax oil and other fillers, like you said.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense that they would
They'd
be able to match those really well.
Yeah. So pretty cool. I'm really impressed. The next thing I'd like to do is try these products in a coloring book, because these were my own illustrations following that book I told you about. So now I'd like to see what happens when we try to use them in a coloring book. So for that, we're going to bring out my new favorite coloring book, Volume 1, Simple Bliss Spring Garden. Love this book. It's filled with 100 different little images so that you can sit down and try out a new product like these wax oil pastels and see if you like them and you don't have to commit to a whole coloring page. I think I'm going to do the tulip. Remember some of these other ones that we've done?
It's so fun.
It's so fun to see the finished pages. I love this. So let's do the tulip, because they're kind of a blunt tool. They're not like a color pencil where I can get into tiny details. So having the big open spaces of the tulip, I think, will lend themselves well to the wax oil pastels. She's very busy.
You got stuff to do with that pillow.
Yeah. There. Little bouncy ears. I love them. Okay, let's start coloring a tulip. Okay, for the coloring on this page, I decided to use some odorless mineral spirits. I used the Gamsol brand, and it worked really well. The pastels really responded well to it. I was able to blend out that background and make it look really soft and nice, and blend the colors of the red and the yellow tulip to make it look orange. So I was really happy with that, and then I was able to get shading underneath the bend of the leaf there, so I like that too. Really a fun turnout. I think there's a little bit of orange that got out into the blue background, but other than that, I'm really pleased with how they work here in the coloring book. What do you think? Okay, so my final thoughts on the new Light Fast Wax Oil Pastels by Caran. I really like them. I don't think though, for the price, I don't think I would steer you towards these. I would still send you towards the Caran Neocolor IIs. You don't need to have a solvent to work with them. You can just use water to blend. They color out beautifully. So you get that crayon pastel type experience, only all you need is water to get the blending. These are just a little too pricey, I think, for just the standard hobby colorist. They're definitely laid out for a professional artist, and I would love to see what professional artists do with these beautiful tools. I had fun using them. Will I reach for them again? I don't know. Like I said, I think I would reach for the Caran Neocolor IIs before I would reach for these. So that's my recommendation. I think if you're really curious, start with just a couple open stock crayons, or get the 12 set and try it out for yourself first before you dive in for the big $145 full set Syndrome set of 48. So yeah, I'm really glad I tried them. I had fun with them, and I'm excited by the result. Let me hold up the coloring page again so you can see how it turned out. I think it's really vibrant and pretty. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. I used the Gamsol for the blending on it, so it went really quick and fun. It was a really fun product to play around with. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me today to try a new product. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and hit that like button so that I know you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Thanks, Steve, for all your support.
You're welcome.
And I hope you all have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye-bye, everyone.